Hello, YouTube!
Hello.
It is me, Jack,
And Callum.
and we are going to do a video today about the upcoming VR headsets being released this year in 2018.
Yeah, it's an exciting year for VR. There's a lot going on. There's lots of new high-resolution headsets. There's wireless headsets. There's standalone headsets. There's a lot going on. We might see some haptic things as well, which Jack's talked about in the previous video.
Yeah, check it out if you haven't seen it.
But main thing here is to just talk you through the key goals of the tech
Market,
industry this
I guess,
year,
yeah.
and then kind of summarize each of the headsets for you and give you a good idea of what to expect.
The first one we were going to talk about is the Vive Focus, as that's hopefully something we'll have relatively soon.
Yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one because it's only released in China. So we've hopefully got a shipping service to forward it to us, and we should have it in the next week or two. And we'd like to do a full review of this. It's something that it's the first standalone headset to be released. It's quite exciting really because it's got the whole computer built into the headset. It's got your Snapdragon 835 processor, so it's just like a smartphone, and it's got batteries, and it's also got the inside-out tracking system. So it's got these cameras on the outside, and they kind of inspect the environment around you and work out where you are in the virtual world. So it's a pretty good big step for VR.
Yeah.
And
it's standalone really. It's almost a standalone full experience.
yeah, and of course it's wireless because you've got it all in the headset. For this one, the only limitation compared to the Vive is you don't have the power of a big computer to render all your graphics, so it's kind of limited in what you can do on that. But
is it higher res?
it should be higher res.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the main reasons I was interested in it, because I think it's using the same displays as the Vive Pro. It's run at a lower refresh rate at 75 Hz, but I think it should be good. It should significantly reduce the screen door effects, the pixelation you normally see in VR headsets. So they say 80% more pixels. How much difference that'll make, we'll have to see.
When we get it.
It's something we'd like to review.
Yeah, and the other difference that it only comes with one controller, not two. It's going to be a limitation of the processing power, I imagine.
Yeah, so as far as I understand it, with the Vive you have these two wands which are tracked by the base stations, and I think if you included that along with the Chaperone system which you have in the Vive, it's just too much to process for the little Snapdragon processor. So what it does instead is you just have a little clicker. Basically, it's nothing too complicated, just something like the Gear VR has. It's just ready to go through things and pass through things. The main interaction here will be moving around, and that's where it excels really, because I've seen someone doing cartwheels with this thing, so it's pretty good. It's probably better than our wireless system we have.
I imagine so.
Yeah, the TP Cast for those who don't know.
This will be. I imagine all of these standalone headsets are going to be more readily available VR experiences for everybody to try, because it's a put on and play headset, which is not what any of the PC ones are, because they do require setting up.
Yeah, and it's more affordable as well when you take into account the whole system.
Yeah.
This is currently listed at, I think it's 4,000 yuan, which is
it's about 450 quid.
450 quid, which is much more affordable than a Vive, which is £600, plus a computer, which is thousands of pounds if you want a really good one.
It's a console price. Basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a good comparison actually. It's basically the console of VR. So the competitor to it is the Oculus Go and the Oculus Santa Cruz. They're both standalone again. I think the Oculus Go is pitched at a lower end market. It's
almost an upgrade to the Gear VR.
Yeah.
If anyone's tried that, Gear VR is the phone. Oculus Go is slightly more expensive, going to be around 150 quid. Okay. Translating the dollar difference, about $200 I think. So it'll be slightly better than that, but not as good as the Vive Focus, or you'd expect it wouldn't be as good as the Vive Focus.
Yeah, and Santa Cruz is directly competing with the Focus.
Although the Santa Cruz will have two controllers, so it should be slightly more powerful than the Focus.
That's interesting.
So it'll be, but that being said, Vive Focus is coming out this month, but again only in China. Oculus Go is coming out this year, but that'll be worldwide, but there's no release date set for Santa Cruz yet.
That's the important thing.
So it'll be interesting to see what headset the Santa Cruz is competing against, as we don't know when it's going to come out.
Yeah. So.
And all of the standalone headsets that I've read about struggle with behind the head tracking. Okay. So it'll be interesting to see if they're working.
Yeah,
something like that.
That'd be interesting if it's possible.
Yeah,
a sensor on the back.
Yeah. So we'll see where they take that really. And also we've got the Vive Pro to look forward to.
Yeah. I mean,
which is the upgrade to the Vive.
That's the real one for us because it's an upgrade to our current system, which is should have an official wireless adapter, which is made by using the Intel gigabit, like 30 gigahertz wireless system, something like that, as far as I remember. And it looks like from the pictures they've shown so far, it's like a little wing that sits on the back of your head.
Yes. Yeah, almost like handlebars, I think of it as well. Yeah. It's weird. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure how it's going to fit on yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of skeptical that they can fit enough battery power in such a small device.
I don't know if I've seen pictures. I don't know exactly how big it is in comparison to the headset, so it'll be interesting to see.
Be a good thing to see.
Hopefully it'll come out of new controllers as well, which are the Knuckle controllers. We're not sure if they're going to come out with the Vive. Do you think they're going to be separate?
I think with the Vive Pro, they're just developing an improvement to their current wand controllers, so it'll still use the same shape, same thing, it just look blue instead. I'm sure it will use the Lighthouse 2.0 system. Yeah. So this is the update to the tracking system. The important difference here is that they've simplified the electronics effectively inside the Lighthouse stations, and it sends data on the little laser pulses that track you. By doing that, they can vastly simplify the things that need to be on the headsets, and they can also use more base stations, which is the crucial thing.
It expands the play area and hopefully makes the play area that you're in less prone to tracking issues.
Yeah.
Because we've got ours set up at about 5.5 meters apart. Yeah. And occasionally we come across tracking issues. Yeah. Some of that might be caused by the TPC cast.
Yeah.
So it's difficult
maybe. It's hard to say. Yeah. But one of the things that we haven't said about it is that Vive Pro, it currently is saying that they'll support tracking Pro, which basically means you can use 4 base stations. Yeah. And that'll be officially supported, but as far as I know from the tech specs, there's basically unlimited number of tracking stations supported. So you can think of a great scenario where you could fill your house full of these base stations. I don't know how much that would cost, but
but you could if you had unlimited funds. You could make however big a space you wanted.
And in VR. You could go around your whole house with your playing a gun game or something.
Anything
it could be cool. We're looking forward to trying this out in like a warehouse thing.
Multiplayer game. That'd be, I don't know, shooty game, whatever. Yeah, it'll be awesome. In my mind, that is the ideal scenario of VR. It's multiplayer game in a room. You can see everybody. And have fun.
And with this new wireless module, it might be possible. Because obviously, if you've got multiple people in a room, you've got multiple wires traditionally. But with the wireless, it's all good.
It's like an unlimited version of paintball or laser tag because you're still using the same space. But then the environment that you're in can be whatever you want, which is virtual reality. Well, the price point of the Vive Pro it's not released yet. You think it's going to be about 800 quid?
Yeah, I mean that's
which
just
would be
speculation.
surprising.
I mean, I found it on some Reddit posts. They don't really know. I would suspect it's 800 to £1,000. I can't imagine their price anymore than 1,000. That'll turn off a lot of buyers, I would imagine.
I mean, the Vive is still like £600, and it's going to be it's not going to be cheaper than that.
No, definitely not.
And so I think £800 is probably definitely a good estimate. Also to look forward to, we've got the Pimax, I think is the next one.
I think, so the Pimax 8K, that's just kind of like the wild card. It's made by, this Pimax has been around for a little while now. They released the 4K headset about a year ago now, I think. And that was surprisingly good for the money it cost. I think it was, as far as I remember, about £300, something like that.
That sounds about right.
And the resolution is better than we got on the Vive. It's better than we got on the Rift. It's better than anything at the moment, to be honest. There were some issues with it though. It basically was no good for fast-paced gaming. But for videos, it was great, and for like static experiences, it was pretty good. But the Pimax 8K, which has had a bit of attention, they had a Kickstarter campaign. I think it got a few million funding.
Quite a few. I think it got about 5 million.
I think so. Like that. That sounds about right.
And it was supposed to be releasing like now.
I think early February they said.
They had a really confident release date. But I don't think many people actually expected it to happen.
No. I mean, they did take the product to CES 2018 this year, That was about a week or two ago now, and quite a lot of people got to try it there, and they weren't too impressed. They loved, don't get me wrong, they loved the high resolution of the headset. So I mean, we haven't said yet, the key thing here is it's 8K, which is a bit of a marketing ploy. It's basically 2 4K displays right next to your eyes. I think they use standard LCD panels for this, which is in contrast to the technology in the Vive and the Vive Pro. It's still OLEDs. So it's a lot higher res, and it should significantly reduce the screen door effect. And
and one of the key points as well is all of the other headsets that we've talked about are all 110 degrees field of vision. I think the Santa Cruz is 120 from what I've seen, but it's still the same. Whereas the Pimax is 200 degrees.
It's confidently
much
in the lead.
Bigger. So I think your natural vision is 220.
That sounds about right.
Most people have 220, so you almost get full field of view in the Pimax, which it will definitely be a noticeable difference. The whole point of virtual reality is it's supposed to be immersive. And so it just adds to that immersion if you can almost have natural sight.
Definitely. I think that I've read some user reviews who've tried it, and they said, it makes a big difference. They feel like they're really there, which is impressive, because we already feel like that with the Vive. They kind of say that it feels like you're looking through binoculars with the Vive compared to what you have in the Pimax, where it's the full field of view, which is great. But the problem with it, though, and this is the problem they've been having with development, is the optics required for this, because they've got very wide screens and wide field of view. The traditional Fresnel lenses that they've been using for the Vive and for the Rift and these other headsets, they are quite difficult to make such a wide field of view, focused all at the same point, all without different optical distortions like chromatic aberration and different parts of the image being in focus at different areas. So it's actually a very difficult problem, and hopefully they overcome it. It's hard to say if they can, because as I'm a physicist, I've looked at this sort of stuff, and it's a difficult problem. There's people which do this for their entire lives, trying to work out how to make what they call super lenses and things like this. It's tricky to say, really. We'll just have to see what they can come up with.
If they can do it, it'll be amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
And everyone hopes they'll be able to do it, because then if VR, everyone wants VR to keep getting better and better. And we're at a stage now, it's been around for at least 20 years, if not longer.
In some form.
In some concept. But these last few years seem to really pushing it now. There's technologies available. Now the technology's more available. People are starting to create content for it, because everyone says all the stuff that I've looked at, all the videos, all the blogs, it comes down to the chicken or the egg story. One thing needs to exist before the other. So content creators are waiting for the equipment, but they don't want to make the equipment until there's content for it. So it's a bit tricky, but it seems to be getting there. It seems to be getting there.
I mean, one of the tricky things talking about the content is having the hardware power to do it. Because I mean, we've got two of the best graphics cards at the moment, really, two 1080 Ti's, and with recording, we have actually struggled to render some games. We were playing Gorn the other day, and our GPUs were fully maxed out. And this was an SLI. I mean, I'm not sure how much the second GPU is being used, but it was still surprising. I think
computer's struggling anyway.
We were having lag issues. This was in party mode, I should say, though. So normal Gorn is great. Normal Gorn, no issues. It's just the VR headset. But when you've got the extra player on there, it struggles a little bit. Different perspective, probably having to render that.
So you probably won't have a problem with these headsets with a decent powered computer, as long as you're not recording. As soon as you start recording, then you need to beef up quite significantly.
I mean, it's the other field of the other perspectives and things that really tax the system. When you're... But I was going to say about the field of view thing with the lenses. We probably will see quite a few God rays in the Pimax. Because the God rays, for anyone who doesn't know, is just it's basically like glare. You've got bright light around white on black images, and it kind of is very distracting, and it kind of takes you out a little bit. I don't know how they'll get around that with such a wide lens for the Pimax, but it's worth it for the high res, to be honest. If you can look at text in VR and it be perfectly crisp, that'd be amazing. If you could read a book in VR, they've really achieved the goal, which is to bring high res to the market. And they're doing that, and high res at 90 hertz as well, which is impressive. But are we going to have computers that can run it
Yeah.
We can probably watch videos, we can probably do some basic games, but we're not going to be playing Doom on it. I can't anticipate us playing Doom on our system, so we'll see. It's up to the developers ultimately. The developers have to make games that can support it. They have to make games that are either low enough or adjust their graphic settings for the high res, or so with the SLI system you can use what's it called, the VR Works, which allows it to use each GPU to render the separate eyes of
so a
graphics
image card per eye, basically.
Which obviously doubles the speed that it can render, which is really good technology, but we haven't seen it used in many games at the moment. I think it's used in Serious Sam VR and as far as I know, raw data as well.
Yeah, we need to try that.
So those,
and it's all a compounding effect as well, because all these people are working on, as I talked about in a previous video, the haptics to go with it. So whether that's gloves or a suit, that also adds to the processing power.
Yeah.
And one of the gloves that I talked about, the Vive could only handle one glove. And so your computers are going to have to be super powerful if you want a full body kitted out setup.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy. I think if people are going to want full body immersion experiences, the only way you'll really get that to start with will be going to like an arcade or something.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And they'll have the kit and you rent it out.
I mean, we're open to anyone coming down to our Bristol studio and having a go. We'll put a Google form below in the links.
Yes.
And in there you can just submit your details and get in contact, and we'll sort out a time and you can have a good go at it.
Because one of the things we've said is people don't really know what VR is.
Yeah.
So they've got a concept, obviously, like most people have heard of VR nowadays, but nobody's really tried it, so they don't really understand what it is.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm just thinking back to when I first tried it, and this wasn't long ago, I stress, it was only about 4 months ago. And I'm quite a keen gamer, and I'm a techie, I know lots about computers and things. I'd heard about it, but I was just like,
How good can it be?
Yeah, I mean, like VR had been out for almost a year and a half by then, something like that. And I had a go anyway, and I was really impressed. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. Why I'm part of Virtu is that it just feels so different to looking at a screen.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know. I think it's the stereoscopic thing for me. It's the fact that you see things, different perspectives in each eye. That's such a new experience to me. Like you've never had that in 3D. You've never had that in anything else you've ever seen, and that really pulls you into it. And you feel like you're, even with the pixelation, all the other issues, all the tracking issues, and all this other stuff. You don't care because you feel like you're really there, and that's really important. And that's why it's exciting, and that's why we're keen to show you the best that VR can offer, really.
And for me, I think it's the degree of control you have.
Yeah.
It's because in a PC game, you move obviously with your keyboard and mouse, and you're restricted by what perspective the game gives you, and where you can move around, what you can look at. Whereas in VR, you can crouch on the floor, look in corners. You actually interact with things. If you want to touch something, you obviously move your hand and touch it. I just think all of that.
It's brilliant.
It just adds a whole new dynamic to how you play games. It's just way more interactive, and I personally can't wait for more multiplayer games to come out.
Yeah, that's the dream, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's going to come in time.
It's not there perfectly, and there are some multiplayer games that we want to play but haven't yet. We can, because we've got both a Rift and a Vive at the moment, but our setup isn't quite geared to that at the moment. Hopefully it will change as we're moving studio soon. We'll have a lot more space, which will be good. So then we can really start pushing what both the headsets and games can be done.
We tried a game called Panoptic, where you're basically like a big floating laser eye, and you have to shoot a little man who's the other player on an Xbox controller who's running away from you, and he can try and hide behind pillars and things like that. But it's just so great being able to, like, you're just like crawling on the floor, looking at the ground. Going, where are you?
Peering through windows and really getting stuck in.
It's just really funny. Like, I remember when you're like trying to push your face into the wall and things like that. Like that's the real like benefit of room scale, and unfortunately that's probably only the premium headsets are going to have that for quite a while.
Yes,
I think
until the technology gets cheap.
You need a lot. You need space. You need the money. You need a good computer. You need loads of space for the cables and all that crap, and the time to do it. I mean, it took us quite a while to set up in the end.
Especially like where the stage of wireless is at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
So first we had to get all the wires set up,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you get the TPC card, still got the wires, but it's not attached to the headset. You just need to connect it. You've got the receiver on the headset,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's not perfect. Like that
Yeah.
sometimes requires a bit of setup. Sometimes we have to restart Steam, unplug everything, plug it all back in, and all
Yeah.
sorts of stuff. So it's an imperfect technology at the moment.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But it's getting better.
It's in development, basically, and even with the version we've got, we're still perfectly happy paying £300 for something. It's just so good to have that freedom.
Yeah.
Like we tried cable for about almost a month, I'd say, and then we got the wireless. And I was, to be honest, I was quite skeptical. I thought it isn't going to make that much difference. We've got cable, but it doesn't matter that much. But you feel so much more involved in the experience because you don't know where you are in the room, first of all, because you normally have this cable telling you where you are.
Yeah.
And you know that you're being tethered and all that sort of stuff. But when you're in there, it's great. And we will do a video in the future where we really go through in detail about how to set up the TP cast.
Yes.
And how we can like improve the faults in it and fix all the different bugs we've had. It's a bit involved, but for you guys which can afford a TP cast and want to afford it, and we would recommend it to those which have the money to go for it.
Just again, don't expect something that you can plug in and play. I'll probably use that phrase a few times.
Yeah.
But the whole thing, especially with the headsets that you need a PC to run, all of them require a bit of tinkering. Even if it's just putting up the base stations, like you've got to screw something into the wall or put it on a stand, whatever. There is setup involved.
Yeah.
So the more you want, the more setup is involved at the moment, anyway, until the technology improves and becomes a bit more refined. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I would say for the average person, the best experience at the moment is with the PlayStation VR.
Yeah, it's got really good reviews. And it's doing really well.
It's not as good as the Vive. It has its limitations, especially the controllers. I believe the tracking on that can be a real pain.
Yeah. Although this is opinion, we haven't tried the PS VR.
No, we haven't. No.
But this is what we've read. Yeah.
Good to clarify. This is what we've read. And this kind of makes sense. I mean, you can see the Vive is going to be better tracking. Why would they include these base stations that do this crazy laser scanning thing? Like it makes sense. And the general consensus with the PlayStation VR is it's still recommended. It still gives a good picture. I think its display is, to be honest, actually better than the Vive.
Yeah,
the lower res, and they have different sub-pixel arrangement.
No, you're saying about this.
I think I can't remember exactly. I think the Vive is pentile sub-pixels, and basically this means that when you see it up close, which you do with the lenses, they bring you really close to the screen. The Fresnel lenses, you get weird colors, and the pixels are more visible, so that screen door effect is more visible.
Yep.
Even with the lower res of the PlayStation VR, it does tend to give better response in that regard. You have less screen door effect, less weird colors.
It's still expensive, but still cheaper than a PC, because you're talking a PlayStation's probably what, 350, 400 quid, and then the headset on top of that. It's about 300 and 400 pounds again for the PSVR.
Yeah, same again.
£700 to £800 you're looking at, whereas you probably want to spend that on just a computer if you want to run the HTC Vive.
Yeah, easily.
Well,
but that's what we recommend at the moment. But that said, we got the Vive Focus on the way, hopefully.
Yeah, so we'd like to get a review on that.
I fully anticipate that being the one we recommend for new people. It looks great, to be honest. I think it's got everything you need in one thing. You just put on your head, lasts 3 hours on a charge.
Yeah.
High res screens. One thing to clarify is it will not run any or many, if any, Vive games.
Yeah.
Or any of the Oculus games. Basically, stuff which works with current headsets is very unlikely to work with the new Vive Focus. But that said, I'm sure HTC have something under their belt. I'm sure they have.
They're not going to release something that has no content for it.
They were pretty good with the Vive port, I believe.
Yeah. So one headset that is worth a token mention is the Magic Leap.
Yeah, so this is the real enigma.
There's not much information out about this.
So as far as I can tell, technically, it uses light field technology, which I think is the same as is in the Microsoft HoloLens. That's already released. I think it's about $2,000 or so to get one of these. So they're mostly only for developers. I think some people are using it to trial like surgery practice and that sort of thing.
Like serious kind of things.
But the technology I think is the same as that or similar, and basically the idea is that it kind of projects light into your eye in an analog sense, as far as I understand. And so the advantage of that is you can control depth. So unlike the Vive where you're looking at a screen, or all VR headsets that we know, you're looking at a screen that's in the same place. This can project things into the back and forwards, and it just seems to be the future of VR. Let's put it that way. There's a lot more to it than I've just said, but again, the problem is going to be cost. It's going to probably be about $2-3 again.
There's a lot of investment gone into it as well, like millions and millions of pounds.
I couldn't believe. I think it's $2 billion US. $2 billion.
Crazy.
It's like Google
with
Alibaba.
nothing. Like there's not been anything released about it yet.
Like the investors must know something we don't, because. Ultimately,
hopefully it is revolutionary.
Hopefully,
for that sort of money.
They literally probably a month ago now, they updated their website to actually show something.
Yeah,
and it shows a product. It looks quite cool. Right?
Yeah,
it does look a bit weird, to be honest.
It's not the prettiest thing I've seen. I mean that's as far just as personal opinion. Yeah, because we really like the look of the HTC Vive, but apparently that's not popular. Yeah, so you think of it what you want.
So the Magic Leap, the idea is that you can project images in an augmented reality sense. So you can put images on a table. You can do things that people have been dreaming about doing in VR. And the problem is I don't really want to say much because I don't really know much for certain. I've had speculation. I've heard lots of different bits off of Reddit and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an actual quote or what someone thinks, but someone has said, the aim of Magic Leap is that you would go into a room and you wouldn't be able to distinguish what is real or what is virtual reality. If they can pull something like that off, that would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean...
But I find that quite hard to believe.
Yeah, I think that currently Magic Leap are pitching their idea at creatives.
Okay,
so they're looking at adding cool music video type things. Yeah, the core concept is not gaming as far as I understand.
Okay.
It's not the same as the Vive.
Okay.
Who knows? They're doing inside out tracking. If you see the headset on the website, it's got lots of cameras and things on the outside. And I think they do positional tracking of your hands or something like this. But we'll see. It is exciting.
Interesting concept.
If you're interested in getting into VR this year, look at the Oculus Go if you want to get a basic thing.
Yeah.
Look at the Vive Focus or the Oculus Santa Cruz.
Yeah. If you want the VR experience, get a Rift. If you don't care about money, get a Vive Pro or a HTC Vive.
yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. I think that's probably about...
Yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, we kind of glazed over all the points. I think we'll write a good blog post about this where we go into a bit more details, a bit more structured as well, so you can quickly glance over it if you're interested.
And we'll try and do a comparison of all the technical features between the different headsets. So if one thing is really important to you, then you can have a look. I think there's a quick point that you mentioned about resolution. A lot of headsets will push that they've got better resolution per eye. That doesn't necessarily mean that you'll get better clarity.
It depends on the sub-pixel arrangement, as far as I understand. This is what I'm mentioning about the PlayStation VR, that people notice less screen door effect with that, so less pixelation in the PlayStation. It was interesting because it's quite a lot lower resolution than the Vive and the Rift. So most people have only said that it could be the sub-pixel hexagons or rectangles that you've got in the PlayStation VR. So it will make a difference. So you really have to just look at what reviewers have said. I think you have to trust that. Don't
be deterred too much by the resolution.
It's not the be all and end all. Ultimately, if you can try them. Perfect. If you can't, come down to us and you can try them at ours.
At least we should have at least 3 that you can try.
You try all 3.
One token thing I wanted to mention about getting into VR that I've seen on a lot of forums recently. If you've seen that there's a Jumanji game that's been released, apparently this is going to be released in arcades. Don't do it. If that's going to be your first experience of VR, don't let it be that, please, because I have not heard good things. But that's all I wanted to mention about it. Just watch some of the YouTube videos on the gameplay and you'll see what I mean. It doesn't represent what an actual VR game should be like. No, at all.
Definitely not. I like, if you want the polar opposite of that, I think Richie's Plank experience.
Yes.
I've heard a lot of good things about this. Yeah. It's expensive, so only a little game, you just walk out on plank.
Yeah.
As it's self-explanatory, really.
Yeah.
But it really shows what VR can do.
Yeah, and what it can make you feel.
Yeah, it's really like exciting. Basically, it makes you. It's like Jack in the Exorcist videos. he's pissing himself. He's really getting into
Or
it.
when I've flown in like Doom and my stomach has dropped, but I've clearly not moved. It's that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
Yeah, it's so Richie's Blank experience, yes.
Yeah.
Jumanji, just avoid it.
Stay
Don't
away from
even be tempted.
No.
They'll give you a headset, you say no.
Just
Walk away. Walk away. Come to us. We'll show you a proper VR experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's everything we wanted to mention. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
I think so. If you've got anything that you'd like us to talk about, or if you've got any questions about what we've talked about, just drop us a comment in the video.
We've got email address as well, planvirtu@gmail.com.
Yeah.
You'll see it on our website as well as a contact form on there.
Yeah.
Anything's good. We'll be there. We'll be
Hit us up
responding.
however you can. But if you liked that, drop us a like, and if you want to subscribe, hit the subscribe button, and it will be much appreciated. See you in another video.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Thumbs up.